One clap, fuckers.
Start a podcast, they said.
Jesus fucking Christ. We're recording there, we're recording here. I got bad news for you, Ant.
What?
I don't have the sound effects, but
Thank fucking God.
I am editing this fucking podcast from you. I can
better
put in
not.
whatever sound I want, like this one. Or this one.
I'm going to delete all these effects.
So obviously we're not in my studio.
Yeah, we're not. And we don't have our regular mics either.
No.
So we're praying to God that audio is great.
I know it's going to be fine, but
I'm a worry ward. What do you want from me? I don't know.
when he's soloing, hosting this podcast in another week, y'all are going to know why.
Simon had a heart attack.
Yes. So we were at Philadelphia Distilling in Fishtown,
Yeah.
the proud makers of Blue Coat Gin. If you have drank Blue Coat Gin, it came from right behind me because it's all made here.
Simon tried to get me to taste some gin before this episode, and I almost died.
Technically, that wasn't gin.
What was that?
Well, there was gin in it. We're gonna talk about
It
it
like
because
burned
it's part
my soul.
Yeah, will burn. You know, it's part of something we have going.
Oh,
So
you're right.
This is a first of a new series we're hoping to start, which is going to be Dodge and Burn on location.
Okay.
Different places that we find interesting in a way.
It could be wedding related, non-wedding related.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
know, this one happens to have some ties
venue
in with
space,
it.
yeah.
But we thought, what better way to start the on location series than in a place that makes gin, my favorite. And I've had a little bit already. If we aren't spicy yet,
And I'm excited for you guys to see because our friend who we're going to be interviewing today has made us a signature cocktail.
yes, we are excited.
So
for
I'm excited for that.
it. But I think rather than us just bullshitting for another little bit, why don't we bring them out?
You want to?
Yeah.
Well,
So-
I want to know how your week was, though.
No, you don't,
Why?
because you stressed me out all week, bro.
You, bro, I have no hair. You see, you guys, you see this? I have no hair because of this man.
He's actually already drank a full bottle of this. You just can't tell because it's behind the thing.
Okay.
No, man. My previous week was crazy. It was Passover, so my entire extended family was here,
Nice.
which is, as you can imagine, crazy.
Wait, do Jewish people celebrate Easter?
No, Aunt,
Oh, okay.
because Jesus is involved. If there's anything involving Jesus, we don't celebrate it.
Oh, you're just like,
Yeah.
okay, screw you, Jesus.
He is risen, but not for us. And then what did we do? Oh, we went and saw Riverdance 30th anniversary last night with the kids
What the hell
and
is
my
that?
parents. You know Riverdance?
Mm-mm.
You're black. You wouldn't know what Riverdance is.
Excuse me.
It's
There's
real-
black Jewish people. What the hell?
It's not Jewish. It's real white people like Irish dancing, world music stuff. It's from
Okay.
the late 90s, I think it was.
Okay.
It was
Can you show us a river dance?
No, absolutely not.
Why not?
Because it's just because I'm white does not mean
Why
I
you
can
can
river
river dance, bro? You know that.
Can you play bass?
Yes.
All right, fine.
Yeah, exactly.
It was okay. I mean, the kids liked
Okay.
it for like 90 minutes or
Nice.
an hour. And
Do you have any
then,
weddings?
No.
Oh, that's
we
nice.
I actually realized that the way our weddings are scheduled this year is apparently I had a wedding that I forgot about. Oh, we did.
Apparently, his producer, aka wife, aka partner, just reminded Simon about a wedding he had.
I told you it's been a stressful couple days, man. And it's not getting any easier. But
It's all right.
oh yeah, we shot at Stella
Stella.
in New Hope. It's the
never heard of it.
restaurant right by the Bucks County Playhouse.
Oh, is it an Italian place?
Not really.
No? Okay.
But
I do know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Was it nice? Was it fun?
It was all right. Yeah,
Yeah?
it was good.
It was
It was run of the mill wedding.
Nice. Small.
Yeah.
It's probably an intimate wedding.
It's smaller. Yeah. It was fine. It was. Have you ever done one of those weddings where you get done, you're like, okay, that happened.
That was a good day.
Not in a bad way, just
No.
like, cool, we got that done.
Yeah.
Got some good stuff.
Bro, can you believe I've been at the same venue 3 times in 1 week? I was there the previous Saturday.
The Ivy, right?
The Ivy, ballroom at Ellis Preserve, and then back at the Ivy again. All in 1 week. I forget the lady's name who's she's like the coordinator there. Has like brownish, like
Michelle, I think her name.
probably Michelle, I think. She was like, yo, I'm literally gonna get you a cot, put you in get you a little room on the side.
Last season we did Curtis, literally Friday and Saturday, 2 different weddings. Curtis
Wow.
Hall. It was like Should we
The
even
atrium?
go home? And the funniest thing is it is like a 2-minute drive from our old house.
Okay.
So I'm like, why couldn't we have had this, in 2019 we were still
Right.
living in Jenkintown. So
Nice, man. Yeah, that's good. So you had a stressful week, I guess.
the,
Hopefully, I made it easier for you.
absolutely not. I mean, it's so much worse for me.
Hey, we're gonna send you home with one of these blue coat gins after this.
How do you know I haven't had one already?
True.
But yeah. So today we have on actually a good friend of mine. We realized recently we've known each other for 15 years.
Yeah.
And we met in State College at the First, which was my favorite bar when I went to school there. And then when I was playing in a band, we played there, drove up there on Sundays to play. And then we moved to Philly, and then he moved to Philly. I'll let him tell the whole story, but
So I guess the whole people are probably wondering, well, why are you in a distillery? Well,
because I'm an alcoholic.
no, it's because
That's part of it.
people usually will hire bartenders or they'll hire people to serve alcohol at their weddings. So we kind of wanted to infuse a way of talking about curating.
Infuse. I see what you did there.
Yeah, and curating, like certain menus in terms of like cocktails and mocktails for intimate weddings or larger scale weddings, and just give people an insight on what it takes to get that process going.
Yeah. Long story short, we like to drink, and
Bro,
we have questions. So, without further ado, Jesse. Hey, through the power of editing, Jesse's here.
Jesse, this is where we'll put those effects, right?
Yeah, but yeah, applause.
Insert here.
So first, before we say anything, we need to talk about this. So Jesse makes they're cocktails that taste delicious, but they're like works of art compared to any garnish I've ever done on a cocktail for myself ever. This is, okay, tell me about the ice first of all, because this is just
I do like the ice.
Here.
Ice
Yeah.
is cool.
So we get our ice from Frank Jr. It's like 2 or 3 generation ice makers now. So he brings us kind of these 3x3 cubes. We use a chisel to carve them down.
Oh, wow.
Ice is very important to us. Ice is like fire to a chef. So super clear ice is going to melt slowly. You can kind of see right through it. And so it really showcases what's inside the glass.
Cool. And what kind of drink do we have here?
Baby, we've got a Negroni. I know one of your favorites.
That's my go-to.
Hey, cheers, fellas.
Yeah, cheers,
Cheers.
guys. Oh,
Cheers.
Like a 6 a.m. Negroni.
yeah, let's go.
6 a.m. Negroni. So Jesse, tell us about yourself, man. Who are you? Where are you from? What do you do?
Well, my name's Jesse Dureka. I am from Pottstown, Pennsylvania.
Ooh.
Out west a little bit. But funny enough, I know Simon's already talked about it. I've known this guy for 15 years.
Wow.
I figured that out recently where I met a sort of mutual acquaintance of ours.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait, when? Oh my God. Yeah.
The math, you start counting up everything,
I
what's
know.
going on.
And we met each other, funnily enough, from the First, which is
Yep.
a great bar at Penn State. But also, your girlfriend was playing in a cover band that I also never played for, but was on the same circuit as us. So
Yeah.
I met her separately. It was just a whole thing.
It's a very small world when it comes to the industry. I know definitely the music industry. I've learned that through you and through Katie.
Yeah.
But also the bar industry is so small.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But here we're at Philadelphia Distilling. I am the beverage manager and tasting room manager of the distillery. This is a place that I've been about 4.5 years now.
It's a long time for you.
Yeah, I've been in the bar industry for almost 16 years. Not including when I was making cocktails for my parents at the parties in summer. And I
like 10 years
a
old.
blender. Yeah, 10
Right,
years old.
yeah.
No one looked back at that history. But no, I've always loved the industry and I've been in it. And it's been one of those things that I've gone through. A bouncer at a bar when I first met you. I worked in high-end hotels.
Wait, did you kick him out of the bar, or did you?
Me,
what
no.
happened?
There's
No.
definitely people in my band who I've seen him have.
I had to slow, not him down, but yeah, Ben, usually you're not allowed to kick out. It's kind of
Okay.
a rule. Some of the groupies,
Oh, he's not? They
absolutely.
never told me that. I could have been happy. I could have been worse.
You thought it was Bacardi and soda. It was just soda water.
Just soda. Okay.
Right.
So wait, Jesse, what kind of got you into cocktail making?
I would actually say, kind of joking about it, but my parents were always having parties growing up. It was so I grew up in Pottstown. I grew up in like a farm area, so we had a pool. My parents had a lot of friends they'd bring out and over, and it was always the hospitable thing that I really enjoyed that my parents did. They brought people together. They cooked food. They barbecued. They make margaritas, and it was one of the things that it was just always in my life. And then college happened, and you need money. So when I first got hired, I was hired as a bouncer. I went to school for physical therapy, kinesiology. The bar owners saw me at the YMCA, like, yeah, you're kind of big. I'm 6'1". I'm not the biggest bouncer there is in the world, but I am the nicest bouncer there is.
This reminds me of that episode of King of Queens. You know what I'm talking about?
Not that episode, no. Tell me about it.
He basically started out as a bouncer and then failed miserably as a bartender and then became a UPS driver somehow.
Oh, that's his.
You know what I'm talking about?
No, I mean, I've seen the show. I never knew that was.
It was
his
hilarious,
backstory.
just like how that transition. But
That's awesome.
yeah,
Yeah, it was one of those things that I first got hired. You know, you have debts. You want to go out and have some extra drinking money. You want extra food money to go out. Take a date out. And so I started working my way through there, bouncer, then became a bartender, then became a bar manager, helped open a few bars for that company in State College. Then decided, hey, it's time for me to kind of leave there and then move back to this side of the state in Philadelphia. My longest stint was actually at the Rittenhouse Hotel. Very bougie, now 4 5
Very
stars.
bougie.
We used to come visit often.
Yeah, I did hear that it became 5 stars now.
Yeah, I'm so happy for them. Richie, who runs the program in the library bar, like I'm so happy for him and for the entire team.
Yeah, so the Rittenhouse, the library bar at Rittenhouse is like a cool little spot. It's sort of just tucked in the back. You go in that main entrance and make a left and go all the way down. It's just like a nice, like, chill spot to get a drink.
Yeah, and I think it still is one of the best old fashions in the city. I still have love for that place, and
You just did a guest bartending gig there.
I just did a guest bartending gig, which was really fun. I got to see some old regulars I haven't seen for, now almost 5 years. I kind of left her during COVID and came over here. So it was really cool to kind of go back and be in the old stomping grounds.
Nice.
Wait, I love old fashions. So I'm curious, what makes, I know it's simple ingredients, but like, you just said they have the best old fashioned. What makes theirs so good?
It is massive. It's about like 6 ounces of Maker's Mark.
Oh, wow.
You could stop right there.
You just need
Have
one.
me at 6 ounces of Maker's Mark.
Right.
Unfortunately, there are some documents that I signed that I can't give that recipe.
Oh, okay.
completely.
Okay.
That's what the magic is. I'm very happy to share any cocktail here, but there's one of those cocktails at library bar that I kind of keep close to the chest.
Okay.
So we're in this awesome space right now, and I think it would be a complete sin to just not talk about, Philly Distilling, not only as a bar, but also a distillery of a great American gin brand, and also as a venue for weddings and events. So give us sort of like the rundown on when this opened and sort of how it became what it is today.
Yeah. So Philadelphia Distilling started in 2007, technically. We weren't in this beautiful space that we are right now. We were in more of an industrial area. Mm-hmm. When we first opened, we were one of the first distilleries in Pennsylvania since after Prohibition. There were still a few that lasted through Prohibition, but we pretty much had to go to the state. Andrew Huerta and Robert Castle, the 2 founders, literally went to legislation and had to change the laws of like having distillery again. We're, as we know, we're in a state that's a little behind with some of our liquor laws.
Yeah.
No. So 2007 we started. We were actually one of the first companies also to brand our gin as American style. Okay. You've had it, and now you've had it. That pretty much just means that's a lot more citrus forward. It's got more of that orange and lemon, that flavors that most people don't associate with gin. I think a lot of times that people have gin associated with that is London Dries, which is nothing wrong with London Dries, but you stole from your parents' cabinet, your grandparents' cabinet. Yeah. I grew up where we had bonfires. We fill a water bottle with gin and you drink it. And you're like, what is this piney nose? What is this? And then you get sick. And then everyone's like, I hate gin.
Right.
And that's the biggest thing I always hear is I hate gin.
My wife being one of them.
Your wife, but I'm pretty sure with our barrel finish, we have changed her.
Yeah, and I think it's cool that, from that, now Blue Coat has these other options, which are, each of them is unique too, which is pretty cool. I like the barrel finish because I'm a whiskey guy too, and then the elderflower too, but the brand itself is just awesome.
Yeah, the branding behind it, not only is it really good juice in the bottles, but the branding behind it, Andrew really cared about that whole thing from front to back. So 2007 when we started, you weren't allowed to come and visit us. You couldn't come and get a tasting or a tour with us. The laws were that bad.
Oh, wow.
So we actually worked with wineries 2011, 2012 to kind of change those laws because Pennsylvania wineries were the same way. Pennsylvania wine, you couldn't go in there, have a few glasses, and buy a few cases.
That's crazy. I never knew that.
Yeah, the laws are very arcane when it comes to that.
Wow.
So when those laws started changing, we looked for a newer space, a little bit closer to people that could be a little bit more of a tourism spot that they should be walking to and be more like, within a more dense population. So we started looking for this new beautiful spot. Technically 2013, 2014, we started moving our equipment over here. This used to be, for the longest time, Ajax Metal Foundry and Facilities.
I mean, yeah, see, I can see that.
Yeah, is actually I was actually talking to our operations director. We found some old blueprints for business before that.
Oh, really?
And like, he actually has a piece of this metal that's upstairs. I'm pretty sure it contains a lot of lead that I should not have touched. He's like, yeah, they found this while digging up and renovating this spot. So we did about a year renovation, and yeah, we added our stills. We have our Chester copper pot, our smaller still.
I just watched Goonies with my older son, and he was into it.
It's exactly why.
That's awesome.
And then we have our larger still. These are actually both stills from Scotland that we converted into making gin.
It's cool.
Which is really nice.
So then at what point, or I guess what year did the owners decide to kind of turn this place into a wedding venue?
It was one of those things that it was very natural. It's just kind of, you read the room, you see exactly what's going on. People walk in like, wow, this space is beautiful. So when we first opened, we were just pretty much a bar. Then slowly events started building and building. And now we're doing anywhere from 12 to 25 weddings a year.
Oh, wow.
Which I feel like for a spot like this, that's not necessarily like labeled a wedding venue. It's a lot of weddings.
There's a lot of weddings, but also we're only open Thursday through Sunday.
Which is nuts. Yeah,
that's crazy.
So that limits our time that we can do those things. And also, when you have a wedding here, you have a full buyout. So not only do you have this beautiful space downstairs, but you also have the beautiful space.
Oh, this is downstairs. I didn't even know that.
This is the downstairs.
Oh, this is the downstairs.
Yeah.
The upstairs is upstairs.
That is upstairs.
We have a fourth floor space, which is our private event space that we do for the ceremony. So you have a beautiful view of the city.
Oh, wow. So you can have the ceremony here too.
You have everything here.
Yeah.
Oh,
the ceremony space upstairs is really cool because you have this great view outside.
Nice.
And the last time we shot here was during the Eagle season last year. So there's just big Fly Eagles fly sign out there.
Yeah.
And the people that were getting married that we shot, a couple were big Eagles fans. So it was nice to like, I got some shots of like them out of focus in the Fly Eagles fly.
Well, that and then the bridge was green and the buildings are green. So
that's cool.
they always change the colors.
And then from a photography side, you know, this place lends itself so well because we have all this natural light coming in here.
Absolutely.
And you can shoot the couple sort of in the distillery area.
That's pretty cool.
Or you can shoot through this big window that's behind us out here for dances and stuff. It's like, this is like an awesome spot to shoot.
I was gonna say, this is honestly the most perfect venue space. The light is, like you just said, the light is amazing, but also Fishtown is also really cool for portraits.
Yeah, definitely. That's cool. So like as a photographer, I remember I was excited that we were doing it here because of getting to work with Jesse, which is hysterical to me. But also because I'm like, it's gonna be so much fun to shoot here.
Yeah.
So
Jesse, so when couples come and they wanna, let's say, get married here, and then do they come and talk to you directly about, hey, these are the kind of cocktails and drinks that I kind of want at my wedding. These are the signature cocktails I want. Like, how does that process work?
So when it comes to the whole wedding coordination, we actually have an event coordinator, which helps out tremendously. So anything from birthdays to baby showers to weddings to anything you want to have, Nicole's our event coordinator. So you can reach her at Nicole at Philadelphia Distilling.
We'll throw all that in the description.
Yeah. So they go through her first. They kind of see the inquiries of what's going on, and they will have their dates that they pick, and she kind of helps them out with that. Then weddings are usually booked a year, 2 years in advance. Birthdays and everything can be booked a few months in advance. Then
cool. And then so you're also responsible for basically the cocktail menu here, both as a bar and for events, right? So like if you come here and look at the cocktail list they have, like you've basically invented most of those drinks in some way, shape, or form.
Actually, what's really cool about the program here is all staff members are able to put in for cocktails and make their own drinks.
That's really cool.
I've worked at places before where it was like, this is the cocktails that you make. And I just don't feel that it really helps the creativity of those things.
Sure. And I feel like if you're doing this at this level, like creativity is a huge part of it.
Creativity. Fun fact, as a Pennsylvania distillery, we are not allowed to buy anything from the liquor store. The only thing that we can buy is other Pennsylvania beers, wines, and other spirits.
Interesting.
So
how do they know?
They know. They know. It's also a point of pride, I would say, that we can use everything that we make and use in house. is made in-house or with a partnership. So in our Negronis right here, our vermouth is made with Stony Key Winery and Cidery. They give us the grape juice. We then make half it into brandy. We add our botanicals to it. We give it back to them. They will age it, add sugar and bottling it, and then ship it back to us. Not the most efficient thing in the world, but
legal.
But legal, and it's the necessities that you need. You want a full bar program here. If you don't have a full bar program, it doesn't feel like a real bar then. And I think what's really cool about Philadelphia Distilling is that not only do you have this beautiful view, this is like, as MTV Cribs says, this is where the magic happens back here. Everything's made here. And then you have a full bar program that you can have the classic cocktails like Negronis. You can have Martinez's. Here's another fun law. If you bottle anything in-house in Pennsylvania, you can then use it in-house in Pennsylvania. So our sister distillery, Few in Chicago, they will send us finished totes, kind of metal totes of whiskey. We will change our bottling line over, put a different label on there, and then we can use that in-house and sell it in-house.
That's awesome.
That's great.
So what would you say when you are crafting new drinks for the menu, cocktails, whether that be for a couple signature cocktails or this menu, what goes into that process?
Yeah, when it comes to the cocktail creation, I think a lot of different bartenders have different things that they think about.
Yeah.
I am a very seasonal person of what flavors are going to be in season. We work with a lot of local co-ops to really get the freshest ingredients, but also you kind of see what is going to be coming in season then. So that's a very big thing for me. There's also, I've used before of certain flavors in my past that I think about. There's a cocktail I'm going to be working on soon. That's
for a couple?
Actually, no, just for this menu right here.
Oh,
you ever had the dish beef rendang?
No. Beef what?
Beef, I'm probably mispronouncing pronunciation, but beef rendang. It's like anise.
Is it an Asian dish?
Yeah, it's usually, I think, mostly Malaysian.
Malaysian, okay.
Once again, I'm very sorry for mispronouncing it. Very sorry.
It's fine. We can't pronounce shit on this podcast.
I got, the marbles in your mouth every once in a while. But the biggest flavors, it's like anise, lemongrass, ginger. We make an absinthe
That
here.
sounds good.
And not many people like absinthe, and because of that licorice flavor.
Yeah.
So
I love absinthe. I just can't drink it because it causes issues not for me, for everyone else involved in the situation. Yeah.
But like those kind of flavors, I had this dish one time and I keep thinking about it, and we juice fresh ginger here. We make a syrup out of it. And I was like, you know what, let's put a little absinthe in. And then I was like, oh wait, there's a food that I had before that I really, really want to try and make again. Yeah, it pairs well. But like, I would say that food kind of creates the first flavor profiles of everything. And then we kind of then made cocktails afterwards.
Ooh, this actually brings up a good point. So does Philadelphia Distilling, do they ask the couple for like their actual menu of food that they're going to eat and then kind of cater a drink, like signature cocktail to that? Or how does that work?
So when it comes to cocktail creations for weddings, I kind of have a set plan that I really like.
Okay.
I think the biggest thing is you should have 5 cocktails. 5 cocktails for a menu.
Okay.
When it comes to those 5 cocktails, 1, 2, 3, 4 for the bride and groom. They're for the people that are getting married. It is theirs cocktails. That 5th cocktail is for the friends that I don't know about.
I feel like that would be cool though, to like have a wedding and be like, hey, you guys can only choose 5 cocktails. What do you think? Or should just
you mean
be
like,
you know what I mean?
Oh, like overall? Yeah, because when you go to a normal wedding, you go to an open bar and you can pretty much order any of the normal standards.
Yeah.
But I feel like when you come here, you are probably limited because you can only they can only sell what they make here, right?
Yeah.
So
not even that though, like this is an experience.
Right.
Like we want you to have an experience when you come here.
Right.
So just try one of these instead of ordering a fucking Corona.
But I like the whole 5 thing. So it's like 4 for like, you were explaining this to me earlier and I want you to talk about it because it's like, you just talk.
Well, kind of like what Anne was saying was like, we don't have tequila, we're not in Mexico. We don't have scotch, we're not in Scotland. We can only make things, we can only use things here that we make.
That's cool.
So it is one of those things that when a couple comes in here and they decide on the venue, either they are Blue Coat fans, like through and through, or they walk in this venue like, I love and I want to be in this venue getting married. I love the lighting. I can see my wedding happening here. And I would say it's probably 60-40. 60% of people love Blue Coat Gin and they want to have their wedding here. 40 people are like, this is a beautiful venue space.
Yeah.
So yeah,
the
whole Vibe cocktail idea is the 1 and 2. Those are the cocktails that after the ceremony happens on the 4th floor, you come down off the elevator before you take your breath and you walk out in front of anyone. Like, what drink do you want right away?
Wait, when you were telling me before, it's like, what's the drink you need before you talk to anybody?
Try to be a little more eloquently.
Yeah,
like,
right.
yes.
What is it? What's the drink?
No, like those are the first two.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
okay,
of the 5, the first 2 are the 2 cocktails where you get off that elevator, you have the photographer with you.
Yeah.
What cocktail do you need before you go walk out and the curtains pulled and you walk out in front of everyone downstairs?
Wait, this is a great question. What would yours be? Like the cocktail before, like you've had a stressful time. Like I need this cocktail before I talk to anyone.
Something that isn't too strong that I could just down. You know what I mean? I couldn't take a Negroni or something.
Oh, see, I'd be
That's
the
like a
opposite.
sipper. Like you can't just like.
Well, I can.
I mean, you
yeah,
could.
Well, you could.
No, I was gonna go just straight up gin martini.
Jameson.
No, gin martini. Because that's
Once
like,
again, sir,
Right.
Jameson's Irish whiskey.
True,
that
true,
we have
true,
here.
no, but that's like interesting. Like, okay, so the first
But
two.
I've seen Simon down some Jameson like it was
Oh.
water. This
I
guy
mean,
drinks it
you-
like water. I'm like, bro,
and
what are you doing?
clearly don't have all the details of how we know each other.
I believe that we went through a pallet of Jameson every few months at
Jesus
first.
Christ.
And I think we could tell a good bottle from a bad bottle.
Yeah, it got to the point where like the ones that had a little bit too much sweet on it. Yeah. But well, so like band I was in that when we played first, that's what got me into Jameson, and I attribute a solid amount of that to this band. So anyone who has done a Jameson shot with me, it's his fault. But so, that being said, it's like, okay, you got 2 cocktails. Like, I need these before I talk to anyone.
Yeah. These are the cocktails that I really want before talking to anyone. These are the certain flavors that I really like. It could be something that's more spirit forward. It could be something that's not as spirit forward. But those are the first cocktails that I want to come out with. The curtains pulled, and if I want to be taken with the picture, with alcohol in my hand, and at that first introduction, what cocktail do I want?
So would you say, this is from the photography part of me, like, does that play into how what kind of garnish you use on these at all?
We
No,
think so much alike.
Okay, good, I'm glad.
So when it comes to those cocktails, I'm thinking about colorization of the cocktails. I'm thinking about which glassware they're going to be in, what the garnish is going to be, whether the garnish will be either thrown away or whether it would actually look good inside the drink.
Yeah.
I want to change up everything, so every glassware is different, every color is different in the cocktail. When someone's like, I want like all pink drinks, like you don't want all pink drinks.
Right.
And from a photography standpoint, I'd like to hear from you guys though. It's like, do you guys like seeing different varieties of glassware and coloring and
Absolutely.
doing
Oh
those
yeah,
things?
Absolutely.
And I remember shooting here and the level of just garnish. Like, I forget what cocktail you guys served upstairs, like right after the ceremony. but it
French
was-
75.
That was right. They were in coupe glasses. I'm big on glassware. Also your fault. But they were putting, was it elderflower? They were putting something on the top with like tweezers. And it was like
Yeah.
such a cool shot.
So I
Yeah.
believe for that wedding we did micro marigolds because it fit the color of the scheme.
But it's so cool, like, to hear from an elevated perspective how much thought goes into that, like those small details. And people think about having, we talk a lot on this podcast about luxury. What is luxury? Like that, to me, is like the amount of micro detail that goes into just a cocktail, even from you thinking of what's going to look good in a photograph.
Yeah.
Like you're not getting that from your typical country club open bar.
And speaking of luxury, so I'm curious, when a couple comes in here, do they have a way of customizing how the space looks and how they want drinks to be like presented to couple or to their friends and family? Because I'm just thinking, like, there are wedding planners that would come in here or wedding event coordinators that would come in here and just try to like throw flowers everywhere and just redecorate the whole place, maybe add an extra bar somewhere and just like elevate it. So is that a trend that you would say you would like or you don't like?
I mean, do what you like. I mean,
Okay.
you're paying for the space. I find that though, when many people come in here, it's already like set of
Okay.
like we'll move furniture around. Like, yeah, this won't be here where we're sitting. This will be more the dance floor. The DJ will be over here.
Okay.
The food won't be in this area. So create more space. But we can't really add another bar. We have three wells behind this bar.
Yeah.
And what is things of like we talked about with open bars, you have a bottleneck when you come to open bars. You have a bottleneck because someone can ask for any cocktail, and it takes that extra time of like, I can't make that, or what that recipe is.
Absolutely.
Or they order a mojito and some guy goes, yeah, I can make that. And 15 minutes later, they can serve the next drink.
Well, once again, if the mojito's on the menu, hopefully your bar's prepared for
Sure,
it. Which is the reason I think it's really nice here is because not only you have these custom cocktails that you choose all your different ingredients, and I work with you and do those things, but it's efficient.
Yeah.
There's 5 cocktails, and we can kind of go off menu. Like single mix drinks is like, that's easy to do. But yeah, if you have something that's super off menu, we're like, no, we can't do that. Move on. This is the list of the bride and groom worked with me with. And we sat down for hour, 2 hours to kind of decide on their cocktails then.
So Jesse, I know you know, we've been talking about the 5 cocktails that you would make. You already talked about 2. Can you tell us the last 3 that you would provide?
Yeah. So the first 2, you're coming down off the elevator. The photographer's right there. You're about to be revealed to the world. 3 and 4 is what the couple would like after their first round of cocktails.
Ooh, wait, Simon, what would be your number 3?
Ooh, okay, so
I think I know mine.
the one. Okay, I've had my martini, and then, ooh, that's a good question because it's like
Wait, your martini's the first one?
martini. Yeah,
Okay.
martini's like my go.
So what's
like
the
the
second
first
one?
one because that's like enough to get me like a little bit of a like a
Right.
relax.
So that's what I'm saying, a calmer drink.
So I think So I think
Yeah,
the third one would probably be something a little less like high ABV. Something if we're talking classic cocktails here.
Bro, it's just whatever you want, bro. It's not about us.
No, I'm saying
One shot of Jameson, we can do that for you.
no, because I feel like
We'll just put you in the back.
yeah, no, I feel like number 2 would be something I could like drink a bunch of, but not like, so probably something like a 2 ingredient guy, like a.
And I'm glad he's undecisive because I'm sure couples probably do this all the time.
Yeah.
It's all the time. It is
Yeah.
it is one of those funny things that either I sit back and I'm like, I'm gonna give you guys like 5 minutes to talk about this, and I'm gonna tell you exactly what you should have.
Yeah.
Gin and tonic, G&T.
G&T.
Not quite so spirit forward. Is that the right term I'm using? Like,
Yeah,
a
it's not spirit
martini would
forward.
be much more just like I'm tasting a lot of the gin.
Yeah.
Or some kind of variation on a G&T. I feel like that would be good because it's not as much alcohol, and you can kind of walk around, sip them, talk to people, and not all of a sudden be like, ooh, uh-oh.
Okay, so that's number 3. What about 4 and 5?
Hold on, what's yours?
Oh, mine?
So you're
Oh,
1 and 2,
yeah.
no, you're 4.
Oh, I'm 4.
Because you guys are the couple in this wedding right
Oh,
now.
yeah.
Okay, done.
I think we'd get divorced within a month.
We joke because he's my other work wife.
You have true work wives.
I have two.
You're 2 work wives,
The
right?
first one happens to be my real
Wife, work wife, work wife.
Yes. But okay, so what would your?
I mean, you got to throw in the old fashioned, but I want it with Jesse's signature touch. Like, we can't tell you what the ingredients are, but
okay,
we're
so
going to
you
give
want
you an
that?
old
Okay.
fashioned. That's what I want. And then number
It's
5.
gonna look real nice too. Wait, and you see, number 5 is for the people that you, as a beverage manager, do not know. It's sort of like the wild card.
Well, the wild card
Yeah.
is the perfect term for that. It's like the bride and the couple's in front of me, and I can talk to them. I can answer their questions. That 5th cocktail, I always say, choose the cocktail that you may hate, but you know your friends better than I do.
You know what's funny? I had a groom this past weekend who has never had alcohol in his entire life. His signature cocktail drink was a Baja Blast from Taco Bell.
Stop.
He got a whole huge gallons of Baja
wait.
Blast.
I'm playing applause.
You're playing,
right now.
you're playing it?
That's
So-
awesome. I love that.
So in that case, when you have, let's say, a bride or a groom or whatever the case is that does not drink but loves this space, what do you create for them?
So I've actually never had that happen.
I feel like if you're getting married in a distillery, it's probably.
I've had people that are couples that are much more beer centric, and we brought in some local beers for them.
Okay.
But I also include that hidden 6th cocktail, which is a mocktail. It is something that looks very, that looks like the cocktail that kind of uses this kind of a mixture of the ingredients already on the menu. So
Okay.
once again, efficiency is, I think, the biggest choke point when it comes to weddings.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you don't want to make sure you get everyone's too intoxicated, gets served too quickly. But to streamline the menu, I felt it's kind of been the best way of doing those things. So throwing, maybe 2 mocktails in there, or an NA beer, which there's some that are great, like Athletic's great.
Wait, this just made me think of something. So I'm sure you and I have experiences at weddings where we see a bum rush of people going to the bar, and there's maybe 1 or 2 bartenders,
Yep.
right? For 150 people. and they're just taking their sweet time. They're going slowly. Is that because they don't want guests to get like fucking rowdy and raunchy right away? Or do you like recommend a more efficient way to serve guests?
When the initial bum rush happens, which is always going to happen, it's not because they don't want them to be too intoxicated. Unless you're pre-gaming a wedding, which you're an animal.
Which I would. I mean, right?
You have a pocket
As
flask.
people
At
who
the
are at
ceremony.
weddings very often, if we ever go as guests, we know how that works. So.
Yes,
Exactly.
you kind of know the ins and outs. Like, you know that initial bum rush is just because you're trying to overload people to that bartender. The bartender will be efficient as possible, make those cocktails. But you have 120 people walk into any bar in Philadelphia, a bartender's gonna like first off curse and then be like, all right, let's get these drinks out. And if you start, then you have the open bar package where it's like, oh, I want a Captain Cook, I want a mojito, I want his signature, I want her signature, I want some random 1800s cocktail.
Yeah.
And it's like, no. This is the list, and do those things. Here we have 3 bartenders working. We kind of put some cocktails up right away for people to grab.
I was going to touch on that because I thought that was unique that I have seen, at least, that I thought was great, is that, you guys had the menu of cocktails for the wedding I shot here. But when we got down here, there were stacks of them made already. So it wasn't like people waiting to go up and order them. They're like, oh, I want that one, and it's already done.
And go.
So how do you feel about pre-made like cocktails versus freshly made cocktails then? 'Cause I've seen that at weddings, right? You've seen that.
I think I know what you're going to say, but I want to hear that.
I think what you mean is like pre-made is, I would say, like a dirty word. I would call it a batch cocktail.
Batch cocktail,
A
right.
batch cocktail.
Technically speaking. right?
Well, a batch cocktail could be anything that you use, fresh ingredients, which we use here, or you can have a batch gimlet in a dive bar in South Philly that uses Rose's lime juice. A batch cocktail is nothing
Hey,
bad.
don't hate on Rose's lime juice. That's definitely in my fridge right now.
You put it in the fridge. Congratulations. I think like it's like pre-made is one of those things that we batch certain cocktails. So like our espresso martinis, we make so much during service that we pre-batch it. It's easier for us to do. It's a lot of bottle pickup. So a bottle pickup, for everyone not familiar with bottle pickup, is how many bottles that you have to pick up to make one drink. So if you limit those bottle pickups, you can be more efficient and you can make those cocktails quicker.
I'm learning so much right now.
I
love
know.
this.
This is fascinating.
I've
Insider
known you
baseball.
for 15 years. We've never had this conversation. Yeah.
I think we just had too much Jameson.
Duh.
So when it comes to those, like I will try to batch as much as possible, but we also can offer, we make gin here, which is our predominant, our flagship. But we also have vodka here, and some people are or know that their family's more vodka people. So we can have a cocktail you can have an either or situation with.
So you guys you make vodka here?
We make vodka here.
Oh, wow.
We make absinthe. We make Amaro.
Wow.
Which actually will be in a cocktail later for us.
I'm excited for this
Nice.
one that we're going to get into.
And then we make an absinthe.
Okay.
But then also everything behind the bar that we use is made in-house. Curacao, creme de bananas. We have an herbal liqueur. We have our red aperitif, our house Campari that we use for our cocktails.
So I've been to, real quick, I've been to,
My hand up. I raised my hand.
All right, go ahead, son.
I raised my hand.
Go ahead, bro.
So as photographers, generally the first thing that couples will book is going to be a venue, obviously, so they can get a date. Usually we're the second or third vendor to get booked. And I don't know about you, but a lot of the times, couples who may have not been to many weddings before, sometimes we'll get asked advice that is not necessarily in our wheelhouse sometimes, but a question that I've gotten before that I would love to know your answer for is, or better question to ask, but what are mistakes you see couples making when they're booking, the bar for their wedding? Whether obviously here it's a little different, but in a standard wedding where it's booking an open bar package or selecting drinks, like what are some mistakes you see couples making that you could tell us as other vendors
Not to do.
basically to say, hey, don't do that. Like here's good advice.
Yeah, so I think the whole thing of talking about those 5 cocktails is you want to have a balance of cocktails. You don't, first off, the mistake of having all spirit forward cocktails is going to be not a good choice. That is when you see people being too intoxicated and you need to cut people off.
Yeah.
Having cocktails that are also lower ABV with like club sodas or tonics or things, I think great choices. Always outlawing shots at bars, I think is one of those. One of those
That's a
things.
hot topic.
That's a hot topic right there.
I've already revealed how to get around that at one of those bars. Now, so.
Yeah, just get on the rocks.
Yeah.
Hey, don't snitch on yourself, bro.
I'll snitch on myself. Who you think taught me that?
Wow.
Once again, it's about them. I think when the couple thinks about too much of not them and the rest of their guests is kind of when they start failing their cocktails. Hopefully they have a venue like this that you can actually create your own cocktails.
Wait, say that again. I like that. When couples stop thinking about themselves and start thinking about the guests, they fail their cocktails.
They failed their cocktails. They failed that at least that portion that I deal with. It's like, once again, 1 through 4 for you, that 5th cocktail's for everyone else. When you think about what you want to drink on your day, what may match your attire, whatever you're wearing, your color palette, like that's something that I like using. But when you start thinking about like, Aunt Sue's loves high noons, and then one likes White Claw, so we have to get both of them. And we only drink red wine, but she drinks Cab and only Merlot. It's like, no, a red, a white, a sparkling. You have your beers. I always say, like, stay local if you can. For those that, some of our, we may have family members that don't have a big palate. So I think that expanding their palate's also very nice at weddings. And then once again, this day is about the couple. It's about them and their cocktails. So a big mistake, it would be that they don't think about themselves.
Right.
Okay, so I wanted to ask you, because I've seen this at weddings, and I kind of found it to be a little, might I say, tacky / I would never do this. But hey, I mean, to each his own. I've seen weddings where couples will have open bar or a limited bar or a cash bar. And I'm like, you're asking people to come to your wedding to spend money. I don't know. How do you feel about have you ever experienced?
Bring me a gift too.
Right. Like, have you experienced cash bars?
So as someone who's worked, I don't know, probably more weddings than you guys combined. So
I would not doubt it. Yeah.
I started at the Penn Stater before I worked at the First, and I did weddings there, and then weddings at Rittenhouse, and weddings here.
If you know, you know.
If you know, you know. It's your wedding, it's your day, but let the guests know ahead of time. If you use things like cash bars or consumption bars, the bar is going to be much slower. Not everyone will take tabs, and you might have to close out every cocktail. Every bar is a little bit different when it comes to those. Just let your guests know ahead of time.
And listen, I don't want to talk trash on that because I feel like when that happens, there are reasons for it. And I'm not trying to like be a dick about it.
No.
But however,
not at all.
That's the big piece of advice because I have shown up. I have shown up at a wedding, not working. I have been to a wedding that will go nameless. And we get there and we were told it was not a dry wedding when in fact the not dry wedding meant one glass of white wine. I
mean, have you guys seen that viral thing that's going around where that lady invited like 350 people to her wedding and said that she was selling tickets. She was like, it's going to cost you $330 to come to my wedding. And actually like 30 people showed up. And I'm just
Ant is Gen Z, so he sees all this stuff. And
first of all,
this shit.
Sorry, my knees are hurt. I have a pillow behind my back right now.
That's crazy.
I would not be friends with that person. I understand, like, financially, weddings are very expensive. And I've seen contracts, and I've seen $1 million weddings, and I've been to a $1 million wedding one time. It's if it's something like consumption, cash only, or whatever it may be, that's probably for a reason. If you're going to be that person, like to come to my wedding, you got to pay $330.
Right.
I don't think you're going to have many people giving you gifts and wishing you a happy anniversary.
Right. Everyone's going to be pissed.
Not to talk trash once again. You do you. It's your special day and doing those things. But just letting the guests know ahead of time, I think, is the biggest thing. For a venue, it is one of those aspects that a venue, if they are flexible and they know what they're doing, they can handle those situations. Once again, here, it's a little bit harder for us to do a cash bar for everyone closing everyone out of how our POS system works. But do you, boo-boo? It's your day.
So one of the things Simon and I wanted to talk to you about were just like trends, like wedding trends. So I feel like every year there's always some type of new trend or something in photography or videography or wedding planning in general. Like, have you noticed, like, since you've been in this industry so long, like, have you noticed like a transition in different like trends that have happened over the years?
Yeah, I mean, I think we can all agree on this. The espresso martini boat. It's a sway. It goes this way. It comes back.
Espresso martini is like all the kids like me who drank Red Bull and vodka in college were like, oh, this is elevated.
Right.
I still get, and then this is the elevated Four Loko. Yeah.
And then you studied abroad.
Right. Four Loko studied abroad and came back. Chad came back shod.
It is one of those things in the past. So I've been here for about 5 years now. In the past 2 years, everyone's, we just need espresso martini. They just throw it on the menu right away.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that the trends here is not really. It's like people may pull up a picture on Instagram or Etsy or wherever or Pinterest and be like, "Hey, I really want this cocktail." I'm like, I don't know what that cocktail is. I know what the color of the cocktail is.
Right.
But having the conversation with them is one of those things that I don't think is actually trend setting.
Okay.
Sitting down with people and being like, "Hey, let's build your cocktails. Let's do this thing." I can kind of curate them of what they kind of maybe looking for or kind of point them in the right direction. Garnishes, though, I will say, people want to have like garnishes that make no sense. Umbrellas in a martini I've had recently. Or like, you skewer the olive with an umbrella. Though I think a good trend though is people asking more about mocktails and non-alcoholic beverages happening, which I think is a good trend of people slowing down at weddings, so you don't have to cut an uncle off or cut an aunt off.
Yeah, but it makes our photos so much less interesting as the night goes on.
Yeah, as it gets further and further. I think actually, sorry. I think your wedding that you shot here may have had the most broken glass I've ever seen. And I blame you for it.
Hey, there we go.
I will take like some of that responsibility.
Wait, why'd you blame him?
Oh, he's just it was one of those funny things that he's like, "Have you ever seen that much glass broken before?" I probably have, but because it's him, I'm like, "This is the biggest wedding I've ever seen before. Break that much glass."
So before we get to the last thing that we're gonna do, which I'm very excited for, I made a whole bunch of like. We were like, all right, so what do we want to talk about today? And we had a whole list of things, and we've covered all of it. But there's one question on here that I'm like, I'm just going to straight up ask you. Is it the hot button? This is not the hot button. We're going to get there.
Oh, we're going to, okay.
Yeah, don't worry. The hot button's going to come after the drinky. But what? Did
you say drinky?
Yeah, we're going to talk about the drinky.
And I'm the Gen Z, okay.
Little drinky poo over
I'm
here.
curious if this was originally supposed to be wedding specific, but I'm going to open it up in a broad sense because I've known you for so long. What is the wildest drink request you've ever got? Like what the fuck are you thinking? Like, why?
There's two. One is a very common one, which is a cement mixer.
What is it?
What is that?
It's when you put whatever kind of base mixed with lime and then milk so it curdles.
Oh.
And then people show it. Yeah.
What?
Wait, that's a thing?
That's a thing you would like send like the worst shot out for someone. So when it comes to a drink order, I'll have like kind of two answers for this one.
Okay.
So it's that one, and then also what was it? It was a microwave shot of Banker's gin.
What?
Put it in the microwave for 5 seconds.
Is this like someone ordered this for themselves, or this is like I'm going to send it to that asshole over
Cement
there?
Mixer was sent it to an asshole down the bar. There was someone who ordered a Banker's shot microwaved.
But did you make these drinks?
We stopped making cement mixers after we saw what happened. The Bankers I did once, and I'm like, get out of my bar. When it comes to cocktails, there was one.
This is the reaction I was hoping for. Okay, good.
It's kind of a weird thing because he asked for a Johnny Blue.
Which is already a red flag for me, but that's a whole
Johnny Blue, and then a side of warm milk.
What? And you watch him take it?
So he would sip on the warm milk and then drink the Johnny. What I found out later, this is a way if you have a stomach ulcer, to kind of help that stomach ulcer as you keep drinking more.
Oh, so like alcoholism, but have to put...
or stress. Or stress. I don't judge him. But when it comes to that, it's the weirdest, wildest requests are, or people that are doing viral things, or it's just like one of my favorite things. It's like, I don't want something too sweet, but I want it sweet. Okay. Or I want something this way, but not this way.
Okay.
But yeah, I would say the wildest cocktails or drinks I've made have probably been some weird shots I've made back in the past.
Well, do you remember Scary Mary, right?
Isn't the game we
invented?
I thought this was a person.
Oh no, we invented a game, and it was so this game was invented at the First at Penn State because we would get there super early to set up, and we would have like an hour and a half, 2 hours before the doors would open for the show, and it was literally just me, my band, and these fine people downstairs. So I think this was like a group effort somehow, but it was like there were 5 people in the band and however many bartenders were playing, and it was. So let's say there's 7 people playing. we would have one bartender make 7 shots. 6 of them would be good. 1 of them would be something awful. And whether that's just like well gin or just something that's like gonna suck.
Yeah.
And we would play a game to see, and like, I think it was like rock, paper, scissors or something. And okay, you go first, so you get to pick the shot. You can't smell it or anything, you just have to do it by looks. And you'd count to 3 and you'd do the shots. And you'd get one person who would get the terrible shot, and you could always tell. I have no idea why we call it Scary Mary.
Don't ask me.
I thought you made it up. Okay, maybe not.
No, it's like a Russian roulette, but it's random shots.
That's right, that's what it was. And then the worst drink I've ever been a part of was the Darth Vader.
Oh, yeah.
So the Darth Vader was not invented by either of us. It was invented by...
What's in it?
I'm about to tell you, it's really bad. It was a guy who was a sound tech / guitar tech for a band called Go Go Gadget, and his name was Freak, and I love him to death.
Wait, they're still around.
Yeah, they are still around, but he is no longer their guitar
I know.
tech.
Oh, okay.
Never heard of him. Who are they?
Yeah.
Right.
And I don't remember at what point this drink was handed to me. I just remember it happening at the Sands Casino in Bethlehem. And what it is, it's a Jaeger bomb, which normal Jaeger bomb is beer and Jaeger, right? Or Red Bull and Jaeger.
Red Bull
and Jaeger. So you take the Red Bull and you replace it with a Long Island iced tea with no ice. So you're dropping a shot of Jaeger into a Long Island iced tea, and then you chug it.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's not recommended.
That'll put you on your ass.
Yeah, but
immediately.
but I think that while we're talking about awful mixes of cocktails, I think we need to talk about the cool thing that we have today, which is we asked Jesse, in the spirit of creating a cocktail, to make us a cocktail, a Dodge and Burn cocktail, which I'm really excited about. And we were texting back and forth. He's like, "What do you guys like?" And I'm like, "I don't know, man. Surprise me." I said, "You like old fashions."
Yeah.
But I said, I explained what dodging and burning was, and I'm excited. He sort of
wait. Can you tell the people why we chose that name? Because some people are like, "Oh, that's so
Really?
normal."
Okay.
They don't understand.
Camera 2.
So, camera 1, camera 2. Here's the deal. If you've never worked in a dark room before, when you are in your light room.
No. Don't tell them what it is. Tell them why we chose the name.
But if they don't know what it is, how are they going to know why we chose the name?
Oh,
It's a race thing. Okay. Dodging is when you would work on a print, a black and white print in the dark room, and it's how you would go about lightening areas of a photo. And burning is a way you would go about making areas of the photo darker.
Damn, why'd you emphasize darker like that?
Burn.
Jesus.
It's
Jesse.
a race thing, guys.
Jesse.
Dodge, burn, ginger. That's kind of where we're at right now. Which is funny because
Dodge
I
and
never
burn and
realized you were
ginger.
ginger until you grew your hair out.
Yeah, I grew my hair out.
Yeah, nice job.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay.
Did it all myself.
So I'm excited. We are about to have a Dodge and Burn cocktail.
Yeah.
Can you go through what is in this cocktail and why you chose it?
So you actually had to describe what Dodge and Burn meant.
Yeah.
And so it's like light and dark. So when I was thinking about this cocktail, and you said you kind of like smoky and you like old fashioned, there's a very special tea, Lapsang Sheshang Chinese black tea. Once again, I'm very sorry for the pronunciation. So it has a smoky quality to that. Along with that though, we recently had a floral pop-up, and there's this beautiful tea that I worked with the America's Hot Tea Room at Rittenhouse. It's a ribose from South Africa called Kopstead. It's almond, vanilla, marigold in there. So this is kind of almost like a biscuity style of like an infusion I did. So I infused the Lapsang and the Kopstead with our barrel finished gin, because I know, once again, old fashioned. I already know that you love all of our products here, so I can do whatever in your gullet.
Yeah.
Along with that, old fashions are great, but I like more like Manhattans when it kind of came to this, a little bit lighter, nothing overly sweet. So we actually have a rhubarb infused Vigo Amaro that we make here that I add in there, along with a little bit of our house sweet vermouth, and to smoke it up a little bit more, I did a couple dashes of black cardamom. For the lighter part of it, because it's a little bit drier of a style cocktail, because it's not an old fashioned, it doesn't have that extra sweetness in there. I did a little mixture of some coconut milk and coconut cream with some vanilla bitters on top that will do a little foam on top to kind of cut through the dryness of the cocktail.
It sounds like a meal as
I
a
am
drink.
so excited for this.
Our boy is here.
Oh my
There we go.
God.
Damn, that looks good. Oh, thank you, bro.
He even put in the black and white.
Ooh, I don't even want to drink this. It looks so good.
All right, should we drink it at the same time?
Well, I want to.
He's already hopping on it already.
All right.
Bro, what's in this again?
All right, so this is
Take us through the
Simon's
layers.
excited,
Cheers.
guys.
Yeah, he's too excited for this. So think about this as a Manhattan with a little bit of Amaro, with a little bit of vanilla, almond, coconut, and a little bit of that Lapsang tea in there.
You guys see this?
This was gorgeous. Thank you. This is the Dodge and Burn.
That's good.
Nailed it.
Nailed it.
That coconut
It's the whipped cream.
Yeah, wait, I need some of this.
Oh,
and that cookie on there too.
Is there?
a cookie
Do you
for me.
suggest like getting some of both flavors? Like, can I like?
I think honestly, cookie, bite it.
Ah, okay.
Everyone's gonna hate this. I'm sorry.
this is good, man.
Yo.
Couples, definitely if you have your wedding here,
Oh, no, don't
Order the
don't
Dodge
get the
and
Dodge
Burn.
and Burn. Just tell
no.
Jesse.
All right.
No.
You all saw how much went into that.
So speaking about the cocktails, like this is a delicious cocktail. I would have this on a normal menu for a wedding though. Everyone's faces, as photographers, everyone's faces is gonna be covered in the cream.
Right, especially
See,
having
these are
beer.
the little things you got to think about when it comes to like weddings.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's my issue right now, Jesse. We finally decided to bring back the cocktail of the week, which is what we used to do. Every episode we would have a cocktail of the week, and it was me making them.
Hey, I made some too. No?
Did you though? Did you? But the problem is I will never create something as good as this. So what I'm thinking is maybe somehow we can have you just sleep under the couch in our set. And then
drink of the week.
just a hand comes up like, here's your drink of the week. Make something different every time.
I'm the uncle that everyone, like all the kids run away from. And I'm
Until they're 21.
Yeah, until they're 21. But my nephew will love me to death after that.
Oh my God.
Right.
So actually, that's the other thing. Jesse's the one usually, if I need a cocktail of the week, I'm like, I need a variation on this. Like, give me something. So give him credit where credit's
Yeah, I
due.
want consulting fees, guys, by the way.
All right, consulting credit, Magda gets producer credit. We're gonna have to roll credits at this one. But I'm gonna use this opportunity of us having this cocktail to do what we love to do at the end of these episodes, which is the hot button topic.
Ooh.
And we're actually gonna, because we're in this amazing space that, specializes in alcohol, which is one of my favorite things. We're gonna bring back actually our first ever hot button topic, which was vendors that drink at events.
Wait, did you see that episode by any chance?
I believe I was your first subscriber on your page.
My brother.
No,
Do that again.
No, that was great.
I was going for the grab. I thought I was going for the grab.
No, we're keeping that in.
Nah, I looked at the whitest fucking guy in the world then. No, absolutely not.
I mean, you are ginger. That's okay, fine. But I do want to bring it back to that though, because God damn it, you just threw me off my shit. But like, how do you deal with, as someone who has to be somewhat in charge of the booze on these days? Photographers or DJs or bands or whatever that are coming up, for drinks. Will you serve them? Like, what's your outlook on? Like, do you look at them and go, "Really, you're going to drink while you're working?" Like, what's your sort of opinion? Tell me what you think, Jesse.
Tell me what I think. When it comes to serving a vendor here alcohol, I think it's first off, I've never had a couple be like, "Hey, serve no one."
Oh.
And I think as a bartender, as someone who's worked in the industry for long enough, anyone that that's a vendor that's here, if they would ask for a drink, I assume they've made that choice that they would like to drink, or they feel comfortable drinking in front of whoever paid them, whoever their contract is with.
I love that. I love that outlook.
Okay, so if I'm like, my guy Jesse, can I get a tequila on the rocks, please?
Unfortunately, sir, we are not in Mexico, so we don't have any tequila.
That's not what you
here.
order in this spot. Yeah.
Do people order gin on the rocks?
Yeah,
Is that a thing?
yeah.
Oh my
That
God.
barrel finish on the rocks is delicious.
Really?
Yes.
I feel like it would tear my soul to pieces.
Well, lucky for you have a soul. I'm a ginger, so I have no soul. No, if you come up to me and you are whatever vendor, if you guys are taking photos, you're taking videos, and it's one of those things. If you come up to me, I will give you a drink. If you keep coming up to me, though, I will be cautious of it, just like I would any other patron coming through. Like, hey, you've had 3 gin on the rocks, and you're supposed to be shooting. It is also up to me if there's a day of coordinator, but like, hey, he's getting a little too tipsy. I'll talk to her first before I do anything with you. I I've had the bands come up, I've had DJs come up, I have drummers come up, and I think that everyone's pretty much. Oh, because we had one time, one of the coolest mixes was a drummer with actually a DJ who was like playing tracks, and then the drummer was the backing and adding to it.
Oh, that's cool.
It was so cool.
Bet you I know who that was.
I bet you know who it was. Very small world. But when it comes to the aspect of serving vendors alcohol, it's not really up to me. It's if you're going to come up to me, I'll serve you. I'm going to keep an eye though. And
Okay.
Luckily in my career, I've never really seen anyone go overboard. I've never seen anyone be too drunk.
What you're saying is sort of like kind of what we discussed in the first one. It's like you would assume that if someone is coming up to you for alcohol, they're not trying to get like fucked up. They're like they can handle their shit, and it might be like, hey, I'm trying to loosen up, whatever the thing may be.
I don't think about it like I'm not gonna get fucked up. Like I know your drinking tolerance is, it rivals mine sometimes. But it's one of those factors that if you feel comfortable with the couple there, if you feel comfortable with what's going on, and you would like a drink, why not have a drink? It's a celebration. Alcohol has been around since the beginning of time. Oh, not beginning of time, but like it's been around for so long, and it's always been, for funerals and for happy moments and sad moments, alcohol always there. So why not be able to share a drink with everyone else in the room, that energy that's around everyone? Why can't you share that with everyone then? It is to the point though, if like you are, I've not for weddings, but for events, I've had to cut off people that were musicians here because they were stumbling. And not even here, but like other times in my career, I've had to cut people off that were actually paid performers because it was getting to the point that was affecting service. And the aspect of service is what I care about the most. And if someone is stumbling around, no matter who they are, the bride and groom I've cut off before, I've slowed them down. I've had to slow a few people down before.
It's funny because for me, Simon knows this, but like at the end of every wedding, I usually like to take a shot with my couples to like celebrate the night and like capture on camera and stuff like that. But I've had experiences where bartenders won't serve me
not even that it's a shot. But
not even, right, but not exactly. Yeah. Not even the shot, but just like, in general. But in regards to this story, like they won't even give me an actual shot because I've asked for it. But if I say, oh, the bride and groom have requested it, then they'll be like, oh, okay, sure, no problem. So I'm just like, where can we kind of like mitigate that?
I would also say that, some venues tell their bartenders like you can't serve.
That's true. That is true.
That is an absolutely true thing. If a florist would come to me and they want a drink, and it's 4 hours before the event, I would be slightly worried. At the end,
I know what florists go through, and I think out of everyone, them and planners need the most drinks.
I'll say when they're cleaning up when everyone's out, I've absolutely given a beer to go, and I've given those things. Yeah, I've done those things, but like. Yeah, if a florist had asked me as they're setting up, can I have a drink? I'd be like, I'll catch you afterwards.
Right. Hey, man, this was one of my favorite episodes. And seriously, man, thank you so much for giving us this space.
Yeah.
Taking the time out of your day to talk to us. And we appreciate you.
Yeah, man. Yeah. And, good to see you again.
So for now, when the next episode happens, should I just like come out of a door and give you guys drinks, or?
Yeah, I think we need to each episode we need to find a new creative way of you showing up, like rappelling from the ceiling,
right?
Or, something like that.
Oh, I know you have a drone. Can I like attach that drone
with a drink? Rolling with the drink.
Yeah, rolls with the drink.
Yes, I love this. All right, hey, dude. First of all, these are amazing. Thank you so much for letting us use this space.
Cheers.
And,
guys, this is episode 16. Thank you so much for tuning in. Leave a comment in the description box below. We'll link all of Jesse's socials. We'll link Philadelphia Distilling. Any questions you guys have, ask us below.
And drink Blue Coat, man. It's really good. Let me tell you, it's fucking really good. I got nothing else.
Peace.
Cheers.
We have an extra. We got an extra for this episode. We paid some lady to walk back and forth over here. Some
spooky ghost.
Spooky ghost.
It's a spooky ghost.
We paid a very attractive young actress to walk back and forth while we